Yo, what is good, my anime people? What is good, yo? Guys, I am kind of happy, kind of sad with the way this week's episode came to a conclusion. I kind of didn't really care for either of the season finales this week, which is kind of interesting because the shows were promising and had some interesting development of No Gun Life and also with Assassin's Pride. But it felt like these season finales were relatively lackluster, or they didn't care to make it outstanding just because of a potential season coming up where you can learn more about the world and see all. But I don't know. If there is going to be a season or two or not, I'll definitely keep my ears and eyes open. And if there is, I'll announce that I know on Twitter. I probably won't be writing anything on here or something like that. But yeah, with this week's episode, we get to see this whole ghost issue and see what the heck's going on in general. Jeez, that was a lot of damage. And because of it, we don't really get to understand exactly what's popping off when it comes down to the arms and who may have hired them and why they're capable of doing like what they're doing. Uh, but regardless, they are so ridiculously hyped that I'm pretty sure whenever this guy who has hired Juzo goes through all the effort to pretty much attack the father and whatnot, I'm pretty sure, wow, that was so shallow. Um, that everything at the end of the day kind of transpires back to something probably that's going to show up in season two or something. Because I, it doesn't make sense for them to give us such cool extended extensions and then not explain anything about them, because without them, I think so. The whole premise of this is a girl who was with her family all of a sudden just gets told, like during school or when she's just hanging out with her friends, that they're leaving and they need to go now. And because of this, they rush off, driving and speeding and all that. And for some reason, their tire gets blown out. And right after the tire gets blown out, some hands go bursting through the windshield, and grabbing the daughter, leaving the father and mother in the car still to fend for themselves. Which, if you know how these things go, that's usually what things transpire to be. It's like, oh, I was hired to only save one person, not three. Sorry. Um, and I think we got an understanding of to who did what to the tire um, on that case, but at the same time, we also kind of have an understanding of what it's like for all of this information that quote unquote could destroy, big organizations. Like information like that is crazy. So to have it in the hands of someone who's always on the defensive, by like they're always saying he's up to something or up to no good or whatever, for him to have it is really bad for them. Because now he's just like, oh well, yeah, if you guys really want to keep doing this, I heard I have some dirt on you that could ruin everything for you, so you might want to leave me alone. Nah, but I really did enjoy Juso as a character throughout the whole entire season. I was looking more forward to actually maybe seeing his past and stuff like that. So that's another thing that you don't usually see in these types of shows, where you have a main character and they just don't tell you their past. They give you a tiny glimpse in this whole entire season that yes, he had a partner. Yes, his partner treated him like more of a human than a tool. That's it. Like, that's it. Like, we don't know if he's actually gone, dead. If we don't know if he's alive, we don't know if he's working with people that are good or bad. There's nothing for the main character that is supposed to be important. So that's why it feels like the show was such a weird experience, because not only did we just really just learn the world as a whole, I feel like he was not a main character by him not really getting fleshed out. None of the characters got really fleshed out, right? Like none of them got fleshed out to a point where you're like, man, his father and mother should have never did that to him, and I'm sorry he had to go through this all of his life. Like we don't know anything besides the point of why they're in the situations that they're in. And I think that might be another reason why I was so interested, because they all had some baggage that maybe they could solve at the end of the day. And it felt like a show called Copcraft I was watching. Not only that, it kind of also reminded me of these instances where you're watching like a bad guy in a show, and he's supposed to be bad, but for some odd reason he does good at times, but at the other times he does what he wants for himself. And the character I'm really referring to is Hisoka, but I feel like he's given us information about his background, but he's not given us enough information to understand it fully to then put a face on why he's doing the things that he's doing now. So I think that's the same for this extension, Juso. He told us a lot of things about himself, that he was used, that he's a tool, he fought in the war, all this different stuff, but what truly pushed him to a place where he did not ever want to talk about having a partner? He had one partner, and in his eyes partners are like married couples or something. If he's only had one partner and that's was enough to make it so he never wanted to work with anyone ever again, including the same partner that didn't treat him like a tool, when everybody just has been calling you one ever since you've been not working with him. So it's getting interesting, but like I said, the season's over and we kind of are left in the dark, right? We don't even get like one of those nice little messages of, "Hey, season 2 confirmed." None of that. It's just like, all right, well, thank you for watching, and here's the same credits you pretty much seen all the time, and nothing's changed. Just the show's not coming back next week. But yeah, I do kind of recommend the show, because I mean, the whole time I was interested in what was going on in the background, and that's what they were more or less explaining the whole time. They were explaining the world, and I feel like this week's episode was their break from the world and to go back to where the show started. We started with our show worrying about one person, and it gradually brought us into the bigger world of everything. And then this week's episode closes the end of all of that. Like it goes all the way and then pinches off at the very end, with the story starting back where it started, or ending where it started, because we then just go on a normal case to help somebody, and that case is solved, and now it's pretty much over. But the thing that really is the kicker is the first case hasn't really been solved, right? Um, his case towards the kid that actually is with him this right now has not been resolved. It's not been done and dealt with. So for him to be taking up other work just kind of goes to show you that he's kind of accepted this kid on board on his, kind of his detective team. Not really, because he didn't take him this time, because guess what? He's still a danger to be outside. Like if he goes out, people will recognize him, or the people that have been following Juzo could attack him, which is funny that no one attacked after seeing Juzo leave if they are still monitoring him as they were. So everything kind of just came to a conclusion this week, so I don't know what to really feel about it. Maybe I'll think on it a little bit more and either hate it or like it more or less. I don't know, but regardless, if there is a season 2 or if there is other shows like it, I'm not gonna ever be like, oh, it was so trash and this and that, just because another show might come out and do it better. I just appreciate getting to talk to any of you guys about anything, because that's truly what this channel was created for, is to talk about animes that might not ever really be getting talked about, or to at least have a different opinion out there than following the mass opinions that continue to clog up certain shows reviews, palettes, because if you don't say that stuff, you get dislikes or whatever, and that's not good for your channel. I just don't care. So, all that being said, everybody, let's keep it like we always do, and let's have ourselves an awesome day, night, evening, whatever the case may be. I'm your boy, the Anime G, and if you ever want to talk to me, hit me up in the comments, or Anime Amimo, or Twitter. All of those links are in the description. So with that being said, peace.